Hi, Joe Cerrone. This is Zoom meeting number 4 for CAD-230 Introduction to Solidworks. We'll have these meetings every Monday. It's a good opportunity for students to get answers to questions, just to check their progress, etc. Module 4 is available. So Module 4, it's been available, but I put them on the splash page so that students can kind of pace their work. Module 4 goes through Chapter 6, which objectives are shelling, extrudes, tapers, and rib features. This exercise right here isn't too bad. The styrofoam shell is a bit tricky, but I think it works well. I also put a bonus exercise in there for those of you who are really motivated. And we've hit a number of students that have been doing those bonus exercises. So good job. You know, I try to make those so that they just give you proficiency with creating sketches, because the more you do and the more you see how other people, the techniques are, the easier it gets. We had a meeting last week and we went through the Module 2 exercises. Module 2 is Chapter 3. And those projects are due today at 11:30 p.m. So if we look at Module 2, just as a quick where we're at, let me back this up a little bit. Module 2 was consistent with these chain link parts. I actually thought that they would attach to this piece when I was looking through the book the first time, but they don't. Thought this was some kind of a tether, but they're not. It's used later on in the book for an assembly. In chapter 10 of the textbook, it goes to bottom-up assembly techniques. So those, I've received almost everybody's submissions. You should be turning those in under assignments and under Module 2. If I switch over to a student view, assignments, Module 2 is due September 21st at 11:30 p.m. If we click on that, you'll see how the rubric is set up. Most people are doing just fine. Some people are confusing some of the file names. You'll want to try to pay closer attention to that because that is an important thing as you get employed in this field. Geometry and sketching. People are doing a great job on fully defining their sketches. It's not always that easy. If you have a couple of blue lines, it's not the end of the world. But most of the industry favors people who have their sketches fully defined. And that's to say most of the manufacturing industry. Some of the more creative types who are modeling and prototyping might not think it's that important. And then in general, you know, can you apply features? Are you using the proper techniques? And so people have been doing a good job with those. You can submit those. And then if you want to submit the bonus questions at another point, and I see them pop up on the D2L, it gives me a little flag, tells me when there's additional submissions. I'll be happy to go through and evaluate those. So I've gone through and I've done the evaluations. Quizzes, the quizzes for the chapters had a little bit of a glitch in volume analysis. And so I talked to Sebastian about that. And we went through and redid the questions because they were not mapped to the right part models. So I've changed it back to a teacher view so I can show what I did. And so when you get into the quizzes, the multiple choice quizzes are fine, but the volume quizzes, I needed to make sure that they matched the drawings. And so what I've done is I've gone in and I've put a picture of them and I've updated the wording to what is the closest volume, or the volume is closest to what. And so as you look at these, we can look at which answer is correct and then put that in there. And so this was the first go through it, fixing these. And I also fixed them in Module 3. So as you go through and you start taking the quizzes, yeah, please send me an email if you see something wrong. I'm not always able to find the mistakes in there, but I did go through and correct that. So the quizzes for Module 3 have volume as well. and we've gone and updated those to values that should be workable. If not, we'll fix them. Also, the grades. And so as we go through and we look at the grades, everything is kind of in this pink zone. I'm going to go through and rework these so that we don't have these numbers giving everybody waiting till they get all 368 points. So as we go through and we work with this, I'll streamline that. But you are getting the course feedback. If you've gone and done the module 1, 2, and 3, or at least the 1 and 2, you should have grades posted and scored for you. Just a couple of people haven't got a couple of things in, and if you have any difficulty, let me know. As far as module 3 is due next week, and it goes through revolves and mirror functions. This is also used later on in the chapter, and this bottle is bonus, it's not required. And then I've added under content for module 3 a number of, oh, I'm sorry, not in module 3, there wasn't any bonus questions. That's for module 4. But all in all, if we take a look at those part models, we would start off by revolving these different components, create the sketch. If we want to edit our sketch, we can take a look at that. Spacebar, normal 2. And you can see our goal is to fully define the sketches. Use the revolve to revolve the part. And then to create this geometry on the endpoint right here. And then we'll mirror that and add the fillets. And it's pretty much straight by the textbook as we go through and we work with these. If you have any difficulty with getting the textbook, I have added a few more chapters so that if you are having some difficulty, sometimes with the pandemic and the bookstore closed and the mail the way it is, I can help you with that if you do need some assistance with that. So for next week, you're to have this part created. And if we look at some of the other parts, we'll want to do this one as well, along with our handy dandy screwdriver. I kind of like this project right here. You're welcome to customize it. Do the volume calculation by going to mass properties, and then the mass properties will calculate the volume based on how you have that modeled. And that's typical for Solidworks Associate Exam content. And so as we get closer to taking that Solidworks Associate Exam, if you choose that option, you'll be prepared for that. And again, this is another example, textbook example of how to use revolves. If we go into it, I have to get out of this other command. Again, you want to fully define your sketches. I think the only difficult part on this was this tapered end over here with the cut extrude, because you had to create this geometry here, and it's not real clear in the textbook that you have to actually cut it. And so you can create this cut in this manner, or if you want, you can close this line out and create a boundary shape outside like 2 triangles that will also cut it. So that's the screwdriver. If you'd like the handle 3D printed and make your own, you're welcome to. I know I made my own screwdriver back when I was in vocational metals back in the 80s. And then lastly, the pulley assignment. And this is another example of a revolve as we go through and we work with these examples. And my SolidWorks is just giving me a hard time today. So I'm not sure what the deal is, but I'll make it do it. Maybe it's going to win tonight. All right, so that's a recap of the work in progress and the projects that are due next week. Other than that, I'll return back to the main splash page here. And we're pretty much moving along on schedule. Module 2 is due at 11:30 this evening. Another module is available, so you're welcome to work ahead. And we'll just keep working through the textbook as we go through. Any questions, comments, or anything, just feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to answer those. If you need a Zoom meeting, let me know. This ends our quick recap of our weekly meeting for CAD 230. I'll open it up for questions now.